Welcome everybody, now for another pencil shading demo, this time on smooth shading. Now with smooth shading, to me it's all about not having any pencil marks showing. One of the things that you'll notice is that my pencil is often going in multiple directions. I find that if I just go back and forth like this, I get a little lazy and my pencil marks get too big, which means I have less control over them, and how they end up needing to overlap in order to cover all the space is less than ideal. One of the things that I tend to do is, with the really light stuff, is actually hold my pencil way back here so that I can't actually press very hard, and that way it'll allow me to get it even lighter. And you can see I'm not really just going from left to right, from top to bottom, or vice versa. I'm going back and I'm reworking so that if I have any white space, I can actually cover up some of that plain paper so that I don't have these specks of white showing through to give any sort of like a texture. Don't rush it. Be willing to be thoughtful about what you're doing and taking your time. The main thing that I'm looking for with this smooth shading is I can't see the pencil marks, and I will try my best to not allow any of those pencil marks to show up. It's not just going back and forth. I'm not going in circles. Those two methods tend to make it look kind of more like a pattern. And for me, variety in the shading helps make it look more natural. As long as I can't see the pencil marks, I can go back and I can make something darker and more distinct later in the process. And now I've got my last two, and we'll go from there. That I hope you notice as I've been going through each of these boxes is that I just don't do one part and then move on. I'm kind of going back and trying to make sure that things are even so that it has a more sophisticated type of appearance. I'm just going to go back and try to touch up and even a few more things out. Now as we go down to our circle that we know should be looking like a three-dimensional sphere when we're done, we take our light source and we imagine that this part over here is essentially white in here, and things will gradually get darker as we go down the sphere in order to take this from looking like a circle to a sphere. On my pencil. Really, I can barely feel the page itself. but I'm gripping so lightly, and the pencil is just barely resting on the paper itself. I'm thinking about the layers that I want to create so that I not only ultimately don't see noticeable pencil marks, but also I have gradual transitions between values. I just looked at the timer and I'm almost 5 minutes into this, so that gives you an idea of the pace I'm going. And as a beginner, it'll probably be even slower. I don't really like that up there. Let me erase some of that. It's not ideal to have to come back, so I have to get my lightest value again, but I want to make that a smoother transition, but also not quite as dark. Again, if I'm working in layers, one of the nice things is that I can be just a touch looser because I don't have white paper showing through. And there we have a pretty decent sphere, but smooth transitions from pretty dark through medium, medium light to really, really light. I don't want to be able to see noticeable pencil marks, so going in multiple directions and working in layers is going to help with that. And this is essentially how I can get all of those different values to show up in one basic kind of a form in order to make it look as three-dimensional as possible.